Gervonta Davis's turbulent childhood, along with the time spent in foster homes and dogging gang activity, forged the boxing monster known as the Tank. Regarded as one of the best boxers on the planet, Davis provides stunning KOs in the ring while living an extremely luxurious life outside of it. So let's take a look at Davis's underdog story, lifestyle, and a house robbery that nearly bankrupted the young superstar. Number 8. Gervonta Davis's early life. Hailing out of the Sandtown, Winchester community in West Baltimore, Gervonta Davis had an extremely rough childhood. The part of Baltimore that he grew up in was riddled with crime and drugs, and from an early age, he saw the ugly side of things. Drug addiction got the better of his parents, Garen and Kenya, both of whom ended up serving prison time when Davis was a kid. This resulted in Gervonta and his brother spending time in different foster homes until his grandmother was finally able to get her grandkids back after 3 long and hard years. But things didn't necessarily get easy for Davis. Even though he was home with his grandma, he still grew up in a tough neighborhood where he saw many of his close friends pass away from gang and gun violence. So in many ways, Davis was forged by hardship and tribulation from an early age, the kind that either makes you or breaks you, and it is safe to say that all of that struggle created a monster through his love for boxing. Even though that process was a slow one, it helped that Davis started at a young age. Number 7. How he started boxing. In order to find some sort of structure and order, and more importantly, to stay off of the streets, Davis found himself in a boxing gym when he was only 5 years old. At Upton Boxing Center, Davis came into contact with famed trainer Calvin Ford. Now, if you've ever watched the HBO series The Wire, then you know a little bit about Ford, as the character Dennis Cuddy Wise was based on him. At first, Davis was trained by Ford's son, but after a shooting that took his life, Ford stepped up and took over Davis's training. The bond between them would grow to be so special that Davis has said Ford was a father figure to him and the other young boys in the gym. And it was during that time that Davis got the nickname Tank. Now, you might think it's because of Davis's stocky features and his unbelievable KO power, but in reality, he got that nickname because of how large his head looked on his body.
Actually, one of my old coaches, he's not with us no more, but I was young and I had a real big head.
But make no mistake, one reason why that nickname stuck was that Davis hit like a tank, which he showcased over and over again as he ran through the boxing scene. Number 6. Career achievements. Davis has proven himself in both amateur and professional boxing. In the amateurs, Davis had a record of 206 wins to 15 losses, while winning several medals in various different tournaments and championships. Since turning professional, Davis is undefeated with 28 wins, 26 of them coming via KO or TKO. Now that gives him a 93% knockout to win ratio, which is a big reason why he has such a loyal fan base behind him. Every boxing fan loves to see knockouts, and not only does Davis deliver them in abundance, but he is also one of the fastest and most technical fighters in the game right now. He has been a world champion across 3 different weight divisions, which includes the WBA lightweight title, IBF super lightweight title, the WBA super featherweight title, and the WBA super lightweight title. So it is safe to say that all of those hours he spent boxing as a kid instead of going out definitely paid off, as he is considered one of the best boxers on the planet, and his paychecks also reflect his current status. Number 5. Biggest paydays. As your name and status grows in the sport of boxing, so do your pockets, which is clearly evident as Tank only made about $75,000 for his very first title win against Jose Pedraza. Just a little over 2 years later, Davis would earn $1 million for his TKO win over Hugo Ruiz while defending his title. So already, Tank saw a nice pay bump. Now, Davis pocketed himself another $1 million paycheck for his fight against Santa Cruz, along with a 50% pay-per-view revenue share. It's really that revenue share where the big money comes in. And as Davis's popularity grew and he became the A-side, he started to see a shift in balance for the pay-per-view revenue shares, as evident by his fight against Mario Barrios. For this fight, Davis earned another $1 million paycheck, but also secured 60% of the pay-per-view revenue. He would structure a similar deal against Isaac Cruz. But for his next fight against Romero, Davis not only kept his 60% pay-per-view share, but also increased his pay to $2 million. While for his latest fight against Hector Garcia, Davis earned himself $1.5 million and 60% of the pay-per-view shares. But his upcoming super fight with Ryan Garcia will no doubt earn Tank the largest paycheck of his career. Now, the details of it are still under wraps, so we'll just have to wait and see how much Davis takes home. But fights aren't his only source of revenue. Davis also has sponsors like Under Armour backing him, which has allowed him to live a very luxurious lifestyle. More on that in a little bit. But we should note that for as popular as Davis is, he does lack multiple sponsorship deals, mainly due to his actions outside of the ring. However, that hasn't stopped Davis from amassing a very large following. Number 4, social media presence. On Twitter, Tank has almost 530,000 followers. On there, you can catch him going back and forth with some of his boxing rivals or giving out predictions for his upcoming fights, and occasionally even poking fun at Jake Paul. While on Instagram, Tank has over 4.5 million followers. His page is all about his business, so you can watch a few snapshots of his training camp, upcoming fights, and him living a very wealthy life. Now, Davis is on the verge of becoming one of the biggest superstars in boxing if he can clear out his talent-rich division. If that does happen, not only will his social media following double and triple, but his pockets will essentially be bottomless. And speaking of pockets, let's take a look at how Tank spends his millions. Number 3, luxurious lifestyle. Now, Davis has an extensive car collection, which includes superstars like a Rolls-Royce Cullinan worth over $300,000, a $220,000 Lamborghini Urus, Ferrari 458 that's worth $225,000, another Lamborghini that caps at $400,000, and of course his very famous customized USSV Rhino GX worth $330,000. The GX really does look like a tank, so it's fitting that Tank Davis rides in it to his boxing fight. Davis also has a luxurious mansion in Vegas, which is decked out with a jacuzzi, a swimming pool, and a basketball court. And lastly, if you ever see pictures of Davis, he is usually covered in jewelry, and it was reported that over $6 million worth of jewelry was once stolen from his house, so we can only imagine how much his entire jewelry collection is really worth. But Tank isn't all about spending on himself. He also has a pretty big heart and makes sure to give back to his community. Number 2, charitable heart. In the past, Davis has received the key to the city of Baltimore for his charitable actions. He has donated 100 fight tickets to the charity What I Need Family Services, which aims to help young people channel their energy toward more productive things. Exactly what Davis needed when he was younger. The donated tickets allowed many young and impressionable kids to watch Davis shine up close and be inspired that one of their own had become so great. He has also appeared at Clothes for Souls and Macy's coat distribution events in order to give back more to his community. Number 1, net worth. Now, with all of that being said, when it comes to the champ's net worth, we would have to take into consideration his fight purse, pay-per-view revenue, and all the extracurricular things like cars, property, and jewelry. When you add all of that together, we would say that his net worth is somewhere around the $10 to $15 million mark. Like we said earlier though, if Davis continues to rise and beat all of the incredibly talented fighters in and around his weight class, not only would Davis be one of the greatest boxers of all time, but he could very well find himself near the top of the richest boxers of all time. So that grind from when he was just 5 years old seems to be on the verge of exponentially paying off for Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. And with that being said, you just watched us break down Gervonta Davis's underdog story and lifestyle. We'll see you next time.